Hi, K-pop lovers. Welcome back to our channel. Before we get into this, do me a favor, hit that like button right now, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment telling me, are you Team ARMY, Team Monsties, or both? Because by the end of this video, I think a lot of you are going to say both. Let's get into it. 2026 is not a normal year for K-pop. It's not even just a great year. It is, and I genuinely believe this, the single most powerful year this genre has ever seen. And the entire case rests on two things happening at the exact same time: BTS coming back, and BABYMONSTER taking over. Two groups, two completely different stages of their journey, but both doing things in 2026 that have never been done before in the history of Korean pop music. And when you put them side by side, the picture becomes something that should make every single K-pop fan feel like they are living through a historic moment, because they are. Stay with me, because I'm going to walk you through exactly why 2026 is the year that changes everything. Let's start with BTS. On March 20, 2026, BTS released their fifth studio album Ahyeon, and if you think album release sounds routine, let me immediately put this into perspective for you. The day after Ahyeon dropped, BTS performed a free concert at Seoul's Gwangwamun Square, live-streamed globally on Netflix. One day after the album. A free concert. Live-streamed to the entire world. That alone tells you the scale of energy and intention behind this comeback. And then on April 9th, BTS launched the Ahyeon World Tour from Goyang, South Korea. Here are the numbers: 82 shows, 34 cities, 23 countries, 5 continents. A full 360-degree in-the-round stage design, a first for any K-pop stadium tour ever, meaning every seat in every stadium is the best seat in the house, with BTS at the literal center of the audience. Every single show sold out within hours of going on sale. This is, by every measurable standard, the largest world tour ever mounted by a South Korean act in history. And the tour doesn't end until March 2027. BTS didn't come back for a moment. BTS came back for an entire era. And the world is watching. Now here is the part where 2026 stops being impressive and starts being genuinely extraordinary. Because while BTS is executing the biggest comeback in K-pop history, on the exact same global stage, BABYMONSTER is rising. And if you are still sleeping on what this group has built in just over 2 years of existence, consider this your final wake-up call. BABYMONSTER debuted on April 1, 2024 under YG Entertainment, 7 members: Ruka, Pharita, Ahyeon, Rami, Rora, and Chiquita. 7 members from 3 different countries, trained under one of the most demanding systems in the industry, and built from the ground up to perform at the highest possible level. In their very first year, Billboard named them K-pop Star to Watch for 2024. Not one of the groups to watch. The group to watch. Their debut EP BABYMONSTER made an immediate impact on the charts, and their first full album Drip, released in November 2024, surpassed 1 million copies in domestic sales and made its entry on the Billboard 200. All of this within 8 months of their official debut. Not 8 years. 8 months. But I need you to understand something about BABYMONSTER that goes beyond the chart numbers, because if you only look at the numbers you're missing the most important part. This is a group that sings live. Every stage, every show, every performance, handheld microphones, real voices, no safety net. In a K-pop landscape where live performance authenticity is constantly debated, BABYMONSTER made their reputation by being undeniably, irreversibly real on stage. And that reputation is what built their fanbase, not a viral moment, not a strategic social media push, but show after show of delivering performances that people couldn't stop talking about. That is the foundation. And on that foundation, in 2025, they built something remarkable. Their first ever world tour, the Hello Monsters World Tour, ran across 32 shows in 20 cities throughout 2025. And it drew 300,000 people in total. 300,000 people at a first world tour for a group that had been officially debuting for just over a year. In Japan alone, 150,000 fans attended across 10 concerts, setting a record pace for a K-pop girl group breaking into the Japanese market. They became the fastest female act ever to headline KSPO Dome in Seoul, hitting that milestone within just 8 months of their debut. At every single stop, every ticket was sold. Not most stops. Every stop. The demand was not manufactured. It was not hype. It was earned, night after night, city after city, continent after continent. And now in 2026, they are operating on a completely different scale. On May 4th, BABYMONSTER released their third mini-album, choom, a Korean word meaning dance, and everything about this era signals a group that knows exactly who they are and exactly where they're going. The CHOM World Tour that launches off the back of this album is the proof. It begins June 26th with 3 nights at Jamsil Indoor Stadium in Seoul. Then it moves through 6 cities across Japan: Kobe, Fukuoka, Yokohama, Chiba, Nagoya, and Osaka, including a historic 2-night run at Kyocera Dome Osaka, marking BABYMONSTER's first ever solo dome concerts. From there the tour expands across Southeast Asia and Oceania: Manila, Jakarta, Singapore, Hong Kong, Macau, Bangkok, Taipei, Kuala Lumpur, Auckland, Melbourne, Sydney. Auckland, Melbourne, and Sydney, cities BABYMONSTER has never performed in before. And after all of that, Europe, North America, and South America dates are still to be announced. 5 continents. For a group just 2 years into their career. Let me repeat that one more time so it really lands. 5 continents, 2 years in. That is not a standard K-pop trajectory. That is a different category of rise entirely. So now let's zoom all the way out, because this is where the full picture of 2026 comes into focus, and it is genuinely breathtaking. On one side of the stage, you have BTS, 82 shows, 34 cities, 23 countries, the largest world tour in Korean music history, selling out stadiums on every continent simultaneously. On the other side of that same global stage, you have BABYMONSTER, their second world tour, 5 continents, first ever shows across Oceania, South America, and Europe, built on the back of a first tour that drew 300,000 people. Both are 07 groups. Both are at the absolute peak of their respective powers. Both are selling out massive venues around the world at the same time. In the same year. Think about that. When has K-pop ever had this, where the genre's most iconic legacy act and its most explosive rising force were both on their biggest ever world stages simultaneously? The honest answer is, never. Not at this scale. Not like this. What makes it even more striking is that these two fan bases barely overlap. ARMY and Monstees are different communities, different generations of K-pop love, built around completely different sounds and identities. ARMY has been with BTS through a decade of music and memories. Monstees found BABYMONSTER in a moment when K-pop needed a new heartbeat, and this group delivered one. 2 separate fan bases, 2 separate worlds, both filling venues on every continent in the same 12 months. That is K-pop operating at full capacity. That is the genre proving, with real ticket sales, real attendance numbers, real sold-out venues, that its global reach is not built around one group or one moment. It is built into the music itself. And let's talk about what each of these groups actually represents in 2026, because I think this is the layer that most people skip over. BTS and BABYMONSTER are not just 2 successful K-pop acts running big tours. They represent 2 completely different proofs of the same argument. BTS proves longevity, that a K-pop group can build something so deep and so global that even after years away, the world stops everything to welcome them back. 82 sold-out shows don't happen by accident. They happen because BTS spent over a decade earning that kind of loyalty, one song, one performance, one genuine connection at a time. That is a proof of depth. And BABYMONSTER? BABYMONSTER proves velocity, that in 2024 and 2025 and 2026, the pipeline for world-class K-pop talent is stronger than it has ever been. That a group can debut, build a global fanbase of 300,000 concert-goers, land on the Billboard 200, earn their first dome concerts in Japan, and announce a 5-continent world tour all within 2 years. That is a proof of momentum. Depth and momentum. Legacy and future. Both in the same year. Both at the same time. If you designed the perfect argument for why K-pop is the most powerful genre in the world right now, you could not have written it better than 2026 has written itself. Here's one more thing I want you to think about, and this one really puts the scale of 2026 into perspective. When BTS first performed outside of Korea, when they first stepped onto stages in the United States and Europe and showed the world that K-pop could fill arenas in the West, it felt like a door being opened. A new possibility being proven. And now, just a few years later, BABYMONSTER is walking through that same door as a group that is barely 2 years old, heading to 5 continents on their second world tour. The speed at which K-pop's global infrastructure has grown, the venues, the fan bases, the media attention, the streaming numbers, is staggering. And 2026 is the year where you can see the full results of that growth most clearly, because you have the group that helped build that infrastructure and the group that is benefiting from it most explosively, both operating at full power simultaneously. That combination, right now, in this year, is what makes 2026 unlike anything that has come before it. And this is the argument I want to leave you with. 2 of the biggest concert tours of 2026, across all of music, not just K-pop, are Korean acts. BTS and BABYMONSTER are not just competing with each other's records. They are competing with the entire global music industry. And they are winning. Media outlets that treated K-pop as a niche curiosity for years now have no choice but to cover this. Not because of a PR campaign. Because the numbers are too big to ignore. Because when BTS is playing 82 stadiums worldwide and BABYMONSTER is right behind them selling out arenas across 5 continents in the same year, this is no longer a trend. This is the shape of the global music industry in 2026. So I'll ask you one more time, and this time I genuinely want your answer in the comments. Is 2026 the most powerful year in K-pop history? BTS with Arirang, the largest Korean tour ever, 82 shows across the world. BABYMONSTER with choom, 5 continents, the fastest rising girl group of the 5th generation. 2 out 7 groups. 2 world tours. 1 year. I think the answer is yes. I think in 5 years we look back at 2026 and we say, that was the year. That was when K-pop stopped being a wave and proved itself to be the ocean. If you made it to the end of this video, you are exactly the kind of person this channel is made for, so thank you. Now please smash that like button, share this with every K-pop fan in your life, drop your thoughts in the comments below, and hit subscribe so you never miss what's coming next. Because in 2026, something is always coming next, and you do not want to be late to it. I'll see you in the next one. Ahyeon.